live stream 有咩？珍藏啊！啊，你来stream珍藏，我看一下。then 我做 add widget 咧，咩 event list 係咩嚟㗎？view counter 做 add layer 咧。你的聽唔到聲嘅咩 ？Hello hello 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 shit where's my mic hello 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 hello
few years in running costs and development because that's not the right business for you to start right now. So the reason I get passionate about this stuff is because I see so much bullshit online.
Hello.
People trying to feed you so much shit.
And okay, learning with Iman gadzhi.
You don't do that anymore, so I should just do what you're doing. I mean this in the least offensive way possible. Unless you have millions and millions and millions of followers, like I do, and tens of millions of dollars, you should not do what I do. You should do what I did to get to the point where I can have that stuff. So I really need you to start thinking clearly here and realize, just like if you were at the gym, there's a certain amount of weight that I can bench press. Should I then go look at a power lifter and go, oh no, but you're bench pressing that much, so you know what, let me just do your training protocol. No, because his training protocol is not appropriate to me. Because I do not have that level of experience. I need to put the repetitions in. I need to walk the path to get to his level. That's not to say that I couldn't get to the
copyright. I not scared even 吉祥 MOE only ma. I scared.
And the people who consistently fail again and again and again are the ones who do not respect the sequential order and understand that there are steps that you need to take one by one by one. And you will get to the destination, but you don't get to the destination by thinking, you know what, fuck the roadmap. I'm so smart, I'm just gonna go straight to the destination and figure out myself. good luck, my friend. I wish you the best. There we go, a little heated moment there. But that's because, like, as I said, I just feel like there's so much bullshit out there. Like, people feeding you so much shit, trying to sensationalize stuff, trying to, like, reframe things, when it simply comes down to, at different stages of your career, there are different things that you should do. So my point is, before you try to become a millionaire, can we just get you to 100,000? Maybe not even 100,000. Can we get you to 50,000 a year? Does that sound achievable? Can we get you to $4,000 a month? I'm not saying tomorrow, I'm not saying next week, but could we make that our goal first rather than trying to become some fucking multi-millionaire here? Can we just try to get you to 50,000 a year, 100,000 a year, you know, maybe even $200,000 a year? Anything past that, I'm not trying to help you with here. I mean, you can use the information to get there, but that's not really what I'm trying to get you to do here. I'm trying to get you to 100,000 a year with as little risk as humanly possible, because I do not want to see any of you guys in debt. I don't want to see any of you guys thinking that with no money, you can go ahead and you can start becoming a real estate investor and get yourself into financial woes, get yourself into debt, get yourself into problems that are going to affect you for the rest of your life. I want you guys to do something where you can fail and it doesn't matter, because as long as you don't quit, eventually you're going to win, and you're going to do it without having scars and without fucking up your life. So with all that being said, choosing the wrong business is how you guarantee that you never succeed online. So the first thing you need to do to succeed online is a no-cost business. And for me, I've really only ever seen one type of online business that can truly run at no risk and no cost. And that is a service-based business. And why is that? Well, first of all, because it doesn't cost you anything to deliver the service. You can either deliver it yourself, or you can deliver it through a contractor without ever having to pay anything out of pocket by using something that I started talking about 6 years ago, because I started using it the year before that, called contractor arbitrage. Just like how I taught you in episode 1. And second, it only takes a sale or two a month to make a lot of money with this. So I'll break down the numbers for you in just a second. But what you need to understand now is that making one sale to a business, by the way, that have a much bigger budget, is 200 times easier than making, let's say, 200 sales of a physical product that people don't necessarily need. And because of that, you also don't need to invest tens of thousands into ads to make those hundreds of sales, because you only need to get one and you can afford to manually reach out to potential clients. And because you don't need to reach out to that many people to get one client, you can do everything manually without ever having to invest in ads. I got to my first $100,000 month with my agency without ever investing a dime into ads. It was only a couple months after that that I started using ads to get clients. And you can do the same. If you watched episode 1, you already know how this works. And if you haven't, the way we get clients with this business is by sending cold messages to people. And that could be sending emails, sending Instagram DMs, messages on LinkedIn, or simply by calling them. And then, in these messages, we just show that we can help them by actually helping them. And then if they want more help, well, then they become paying clients. And it's that simple. And if you don't believe my words that approaching it like this works, just read this win from our student Yakub. He says, another $4,000 client signed just a few minutes ago. The perspective I had, focusing on actually helping people and not caring about the money. It's not about closing $4,000 or $10,000 deals, but how I can give away $4,000 or $10,000 worth of value. And that is pretty much exactly what I've been telling you during this entire event. Trust me, it works. And even better, remember when we talked about the shoe example? You would have had to quit your job to start the business because it requires full-time attention. Well, that is the beauty of this business model. You don't need to burn bridges straight away. In fact, it's stupid if you do that. You can do this while still working your day job, while still studying in university. There is no need to quit your job or drop out, because you can comfortably do this part-time while you prove to yourself that it's possible. So instead of sending 100 outreach messages a day, just send 50 for now. It's as simple as that. It's going to take you a little bit longer to achieve the results, but you are literally doing it at zero risk. And for you to understand what this is, let's quickly go back to our shoe store example. Let's say that in one of the months you work very, very hard on a marketing campaign. You train your salespeople to be able to handle every single objection a customer might have about that promotion, and you invest a bunch of money and time on the build-up for this campaign. And it works. Everything goes not only as planned, but even better. The promotion exceeds all expectations. All the targets you set were hit, and you managed to make $20,000 that month. It was a record-breaking month. Now the problem is, what happens once that month ends? You're back at zero. Everything you just did this month, all the extra work that you put in, it worked. I'll give it to you. It worked. But now you have to exceed expectations again, another month, starting back from zero. Do you know how hard it is to do that? It feels like going hunting by yourself and having to kill a lion with your bare hands. Not once, not twice, But every single day, you wake up and you are back to zero. You have to do it over and over again. There's no guarantee that things are ever going to work. And as you've seen, making $10,000 in a month once with that type of business is already difficult. Now, having to do that consistently month after month, there are not that many people that can do that. And that is why most people never get to $10,000 a month. And the ones that do get there only hit that mark once or twice. And then it's downhill from there. Now, how much easier would that be if once you sell $10,000 in a month, the next month you start at $10,000 instead of having to start at zero and work your way all the way back up to $10,000 again? How much more consistently would you hit $10,000 a month in this scenario? I mean, it's so hard to compare because starting the month at the exact same revenue that you ended last month, it feels like an unfair advantage. And it is. And that is why businesses with fidelity are superior business models. I call it profitable fidelity. And if you want to make $10,000 a month online, not once, but consistently, month after month after month, and to be able to grow your revenue in the process, you've got to pick a business that has profitable fidelity. And that, my friend, is the second thing you need to run a profitable business. And it's only an agency model that can provide us with these two elements, a true no-cost business and profitable fidelity. And that's why so often in the Agency Accelerator student community, you're going to see people say things like, hitting my second 10K month in a row. Because if you hit that number once, it's pretty much a given that you're going to hit that number again the month after. Now, let me break it down for you how the numbers work in practice in a business with these two elements and how simple it is to make $10,000 a month a year. Once again, not easy. I'm not saying easy here. I'm just saying simple. So here's the math to $100,000 with this business. Remember that in episode 1, I gave you the process for signing clients? Well, if you don't, here's a quick summary of it. All you have to do is put together a list of potential clients to reach out to. Then you send them a message. Then you get on a meeting with the ones that reply positively to your message. And then finally, on that meeting, you close them into your agency services. That's it. Now let's take a look at how much time it would take you to get to a $100,000 run rate with this process. If you start with the first step, sourcing leads. Let's say you sourced a list of 6 people to reach out to, and it took you about 2 hours to do that. Well, that means that in total, it took you about 2 minutes per profile. Then you consider the time you spent sending your messages to these prospects. So let's say it took you in total 3 hours to send all of your messages. That means that the average time per message sent was 3 minutes. And just remember that the message you're sending all of them is exactly the same. Obviously, you're going to have a bit of personalization here and there, but really the meat of it is the same. So you only need to write the message once. The rest of the time is just copying and pasting the message, then changing the name on the message and sending it. So you are now at 5 minutes spent per contacted person in total, considering both steps, lead sourcing and reaching out to the leads. So I guess to make things more simple, 2 minutes to find the profile and 3 minutes to send the message to the profile. So 5 minutes per lead. Now, if you have to figure out how many messages you have to send to get a reply, let's say that every 6 messages you send, you get 1 reply. So that means that your total time per reply is 30 minutes. Now, how many replies do you need in order to get a meeting? Let's assume that you need 8 replies. So in total, you need to invest 4 hours in order to get a meeting. Now, how many meetings do you need to have in order to close the client? Let's say that you need to have 5 meetings in order to get 1 yes. That means that in total, you would have invested 20 hours to close your first paying client. Only 20 hours. Let me really break this down for you. You're going to invest 20 hours in order to start getting paid anywhere from a region of, if you're a beginner, between $500 and $2,000 a month on a retainer. I think that's pretty worth the effort, no? And by the way, all the numbers here I'm using are very realistic. But let's say that this is the first time you're doing this. You're a complete beginner. So you don't have any practice, so it takes you double the time it normally would. If you commit to this and decide to get it done in a 1-week time frame, that is 8 hours per day of work without even having to work on the weekend. Now, if you decide that you want to go all in and you also want to work on the weekend, well then in that 7-day window, it's going to take you 5 hours and 30 minutes of work per day to get your first paying client. And by the way, that's what I suggest you do because you're going to get results so much faster, by the way. Now, let's even go a step further. Let's say that after you sign your first client, you dedicate 4 hours of your day to outreach and 3 hours of your day to service delivery. And by the way, that's way more than you need for service delivery. But in case you don't have those 3 hours for service delivery because you work a full-time job or maybe you study full-time, you can get this done for you by someone else using contractor arbitrage. And this way, you're going to get that time down to only 2 hours a week. But for now, let's call it 4 hours of outreach and 3 hours of service delivery in this example. Then you manage to get outreach time down to 20 hours in the example. Well, then in 5 working days, you would have signed your second client. Do it for 1 more week and you sign your third client. Do it for 1 month consistently and you already have 4 clients paying you anywhere from $500 to $3,000, because obviously after your first couple clients, you should end up charging more money because you're going to have more experience and more confidence to charge. But let's say that we take the average between $1,000 and $3,000, as I said, because you're going to be increasing your prices. So your average retainer is now $2,000. If you work for 60 days on this and manage to sign a new client every 12 days at that $2,000 example, you would have already been at $10,000 a month already. Just remember, that's extrapolating by more than double than our original
你都需要 check
outreach. 5 days
借，但係邊個你
and
check
$4 hours a day.
contract
Because once again, I factored in that you're a beginner, so it'll probably take you twice as long. So $10,000 a month is $120,000 a year run rate. And that is why I say that with an agency business, as long as you do the work, and don't get me wrong, you will have to put the work in. This is no fancy automation, passive income, running your business by the beach on autopilot bullshit here. I'm going to invest in this meme coin and there's a 99.99% chance to lose all my money, but that 0.01% chance that you know what, maybe it 10x is cool. Just go to the fucking lottery at that point. So as long as you do the work and you send the outreach messages, with an agency business, $100,000 a year is the norm. It might not happen in a week. It might not happen in a month. You know what? It might not even happen in 6 months. But I have never, and I have been doing this for so long, I've never seen someone who can truly look themselves in the mirror and say to themselves, I stuck to this. I made a promise to myself and I committed to this promise. I genuinely, from all my heart, not even gave 100%. I gave 60%. I gave 70% of my effort and my discipline and focus to this thing. And I did this for a year straight and isn't making $100,000 a year. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. I'm not saying it's going to happen in a week. I'm saying this will take some time. But the numbers, the stats, the game plan is in your favor. It's so simple. Not easy, but so simple that all you have to do is just put your head down and work. Just like I did when I was 16 years old and I started this business, and just like my thousands of other students do, that follow the same roadmap, step by step by step, not getting ahead of themselves or thinking that there are some smart ass who should go start a software company or go start a new D2C brand and pour $100,000 into stock. And all of these other undisciplined people online, they just think that for some reason they have a God-given right to act like a multimillionaire and operate their businesses and finances in a way that someone would after 5 years in the game. No. As I said, my students stick to the plan, are diligent, and that is why they succeed. Not overnight. As I said, sometimes it takes even a little longer than anticipated. But if they stick to the plan, I've never seen it fail. So with all that being said, the majority of people get to $10,000 a month within 60 days. No, most people don't. As I mentioned, why?
Now, kiss more, bye-bye.
Shiny object. Or by watching YouTube videos that they don't need to be watching. Or by doing busy work, like building a website or working on the SOPs of their business. By the way, SOP means standard operating procedure. When they have no employees, by the way. And they do all of that to avoid at any cost the one actual thing that matters, which is doing outreach. They get distracted.
揾人，
我都唔需要做 busy work 嘅，我乜嘢我都唔需要
揾人啫。
我乜都冇，我就係講個 plan 出嚟嗱，我幫你做到呢樣嘢、嗰樣嘢、呢樣嘢、嗰樣嘢，我做得到，我做俾你睇，呢個我曾經做過嘅。我的假 outreach 的，我只要做 outreach 的，我不需要 build website，都唔話我只需要揾到人，你有錢，我給他的 service。收到，收到，对不对？别人帮我做后面的事情，我去带你。如果個 supply 做好嘢，所以生活真係唔需要 build 嘅呢啲係多餘嘅。但係如果你 build 得你唔夠 professional， 太多聲音啊，太多賺的錢先，太多聲音了，也不要再煩了。這種東西咧，簡單咯。但是什么？但是我就觉得我可以啊。你唔知你會幾耐先會攞到 first prize 呢個？喂，我有的是什麼嘛？我有的是心態。
我心態到位，東西就自然到位。我要的東西會出現的。佢都講，你都唔需要隔周咩啊？你淨需要跟住佢嘅 plan 嚟做嘛，你都唔需要 quit your job、quit your study。如果你愛，可以啊。我要 play high。
All the agencies out there and steal all of your jobs, or whatever new shiny object is popping off that week. Because by the way, don't get it twisted, every week there's a new person that has some new revolutionary method, and that new revolutionary method ignores all of the tried and tested business principles that have been in place for decades, if not even centuries. But yeah, no, for sure, you should definitely go invest in that new meme coin, and you should definitely go try that new white label AI business model, because those things really
AI
have a
business
strong
model.
track record of working, don't they? So whenever you see these things pop up and you feel that fear of missing out, just try to see things for what they actually are, which is a distraction. Just think logically about it. Just think logically about it. Things that everyone has been saying for 6 months about AI. Look around you. Look at your friends. How many people do you know that have actually gotten rich with AI, other than the owner of OpenAI, which is ChatGPT's parent company? None. I can bet on that. And by the way, this is coming from someone who literally uses AI in his software companies. We literally have an AI component inside of our software. So I'm speaking as a person who uses this technology in his companies. And I can tell you, listen, in 5 years and 10 years, I'm talking about the next year or 2 years. It's just a distraction. I can bet on that. Everyone's talking about it. Yet I don't know a single person that's actually gotten rich off of it. And I sure as hell don't see any people around losing their jobs. Employment is very strong at the moment. So let's use the same thought process to the agency space. You can take virtually any city in the world and you're going to find a successful agency owner in that city. Every single one. All you have to do is go on Google and search marketing agency plus city name, and dozens of successful agencies will pop up in the search results. And those are just the marketing agencies, by the way. And there are endless types of agencies that you can have. And usually when people hear that, they go, oh, but won't that make the agency space saturated? No, it won't. Because once again, let's go ahead and use our little brains. And just let's think about this for a second. If there's 10 successful agencies in virtually every city in North and Latin America, Western Europe, the Middle East, Asia, on and on, how many businesses are there in each one of those very same cities? There are at least 100 businesses in that city, many times thousands, and sometimes even tens of thousands of businesses in each of these cities. A lot of times, hundreds of thousands of businesses within a single city. And all you need to do is get 5 to 10 clients to make 6 figures with this. Listen, I'm not telling you to go sell tens of thousands of physical products. I mean, at this point, actually north of 100,000 physical products. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not telling you to go sell hundreds of thousands of units of a newly started business. I'm not telling you to go get 23,000 users like I have at my main software company. And as I've said, you can go do those things. Please go do those things in the future. But when you're starting your first business, you need to be practical. All you need to do here is just get 5 to 10 clients. You don't need to do it this week. You don't need to do it this month. But as I keep drilling into you, it's a very simple path. You just need to follow it. And when you think about the fact there's usually tens of thousands of businesses in a single city, there's simply not enough agencies to deliver all those services. So don't get it twisted. There's no shortage of demand for agency services. There is a shortage on the amount of agencies providing services for the businesses in need. And that is a fact. So just remember, this business works today. It worked last year. It worked 5 years ago. It worked 10 years ago. This business worked 50 years ago. And it will continue to work in 10, 15, 20 years from now. And you can get your very first paying client as long as you don't pay attention to the distractions along the way and actually do the work. And the main thing to focus on is the outreach. And funnily enough, we have tested a 6-week coaching program with a few of our students from the past iteration of my agency program, where our coaches met with them once a week to give them proper actionables for them to complete each week and keep them accountable on doing the work. And if you take the students that completed that 6-week coaching, they were 11.7 times more likely to sign a client than a regular student. So this was very interesting for us because they had the exact same modules and programs as regular students. The only difference was accountable on actually doing the work, on sending outreach messages consistently every single week. Meaning, if you do the work, you are very likely to sign a client. So listen, at this point, you already know that the reason why you aren't making money online yet is because up until now, you believe that starting a business was risky and it required money to make money. Which once again, definitely very true 40 years ago. And second, you know that the way to guarantee failure online is by choosing a business model that isn't appropriate for your current career stage. And finally, you now know that in order to succeed online, you need a no-cost business and profitable fidelity, and that an agency is really the only business that can provide you with both. And I've also broken down how much time it takes to get to $10,000 a month in your agency. Now, I want to give you the 2 things that you actually need to succeed with your agency. The first is the proven plan, and that is Agency Accelerator. Putting together this plan has cost me 8 years of trials and errors, and every mistake that I've made along my agency journey that I started when I was 16 and that I ran for 6 years. And not only that, but I've been developing this plan with my education company for over half a decade. It all started with my first program, 6-figure SMMA, and then I came out with my 2.0 version, Agency Incubator after that, and then I released my very popular V3 version, Agency Navigator, and now we have the fourth and final iteration. And by the way, I want to make this clear, this will be my final program, the fourth and final iteration of the proven plan to go from $0 to $10,000 a month with your agency. And that is Agency Accelerator. And for this program, I decided to do things completely differently. You see, when I started architecting Agency Accelerator, I knew that this was going to be my last agency program I released for good. So I wanted to make this the best online business program the world has ever seen, to put the nail in the coffin and leave no questions on what's the best program ever in this industry. And that's why I decided to not only build it myself, with my 8 years of experience in the agency world, both running an agency and training other people, but also
有人愿意接受，有人不愿意接受。相信我，还有很多外面的声音在吵了。
So this program has 6 phases, the same 6 phases of our plan.
有超过 advertisement。
真的，你相信我。
Phase 1 is foundation, and here you're basically going to learn how to set everything up. That is,
包括我里面呢，也是有一个手嗨声音的在。
how to get paid, how to prepare yourself to onboard clients, basically everything you need to get up and running. And then I thought to myself, well, who would be the best person to help teach how to set up your agency flawlessly and as quickly as humanly possible to set yourself up for success from the get-go? And who better to teach that than the person who sees the inner workings of thousands of agencies every single month. Some agencies with 1 client, some with 5, some with 10, and some with hundreds of clients. That someone is Pierre, and he's my co-founder and business partner at Flowzy, which is a software that agencies use to run their operations, billing, and client communication, as well as website, onboarding, many other things. But just so you understand how much insight Pierre has into other agencies, last time I checked, there were over 378,000 invoices paid through Flowzy. That is 378,000 times someone has sent a client an invoice for service and they actually got paid. And Pierre gets to see how each one of those agencies operates behind the scenes, and he's very involved with all of our users inside of Flowzy. So he's going to be teaching alongside me both in phase 1, which is foundations, as well as phase 5, which is systems and processes. Then we have our second phase, which is mindset. And this is where I'm going to show you what mindset you need to adopt in order to succeed in this game, and how to prepare yourself, how to structure your days, and all the mindset stuff that is just as important, yet no one talks about. Because it doesn't matter if you get all the tactical and strategic content if you can't apply it because your mindset is limiting you. And that is exactly what our student Ted experienced himself. In his first 4.5 months in the program, he got no results. But his next 4.5 months, he signed 10 clients. And as he wrote himself, strip away the bad habits first. It's more about what you're doing than what you're not doing. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this phase. I'm going to personally help you identify all the limiting beliefs you have ingrained deep inside of you that stops you from succeeding. And I'm going to show you the step-by-step to unwire those beliefs and build new ones that allow you to unlock your successful self. Then we move on to phase 3, outreach. So here we get, once again, into the most important aspect of this business. And I'm going to be honest with you, I have done a lot of outreach in my time. I would say I'm probably in the top 1% of agency owners who have done the most outreach in their careers. But the thing is, I eventually stopped doing outreach, simply because I was the best at service delivery. That was the thing that set my agency apart for years, and as a result, it got to a point where we didn't really need to outreach anymore to get new clients. Honestly, they would simply come to us because of the results that we've gotten for other clients. So I wanted to bring on someone who could teach the most cutting edge, the latest and greatest strategies for outreach in 2024. So I thought to myself, who could that be? And then I took the same approach as I did with Pierre. I thought, who better to teach outreach than the guy who owns the very tool that all of the agencies use to do their outreach, Lemlist. So that's why I brought on Guillaume, who's the founder of Lemlist, a multi-$100 million software company that he owns that businesses use to turbocharge their outreach. You want to know something really funny about Guillaume, by the way? This is a man who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, by the way. You want to know what business he started with? Yeah, an agency. What did he do? He wasn't a smartass. He followed the steps. He built a cash flow business, and then once he actually had some cash, he was able to take the big risk of starting a software company. And it worked out. And by the way, you want to know what Pierre was doing? He was an agency owner that was building another software on the side before him and I partnered up and created our software company. So isn't it interesting how Guillaume, Pierre, and myself, people who have gone on to create wildly successful businesses in different industries, all started at the same place, an agency. Sorry, that was just a little side note thought that I had here. But getting back to the point, just so you understand, Lendless is a tool that pretty much any single agency that considers itself as a serious agency uses for cold outreach. Just in the last 30 days, the outreach messages sent through Lendless have generated $118 million in deals for all types of client services. And Guillaume gets to see the content of literally each one of those messages. So he knows better than anyone on earth what works and what doesn't work when it comes to cold outreach. And most importantly, he knows exactly what's working today for your niche and your service. And he will teach you how to do outreach to get clients on demand. So after this phase, getting potential clients interested in working with you will never be a problem ever again. Then we move on to phase 4, sales. And this is another very interesting one. I personally think that out of all of the aspects of running an agency, sales was the one that I was the worst at. Now that didn't stop me from making crazy amounts of money with my agency, because the thing is, I usually worked with just a small handful of clients at any given time. I mean, hardly I would ever work with more than 10 to 12 clients simultaneously. And that's because I focused on working with a small number of clients that paid extremely well each. And with all those clients, we had big performance deals. So I didn't need to work with too many different people at the same time. So to be honest, I didn't really hop into that many sales calls. So that's why I wanted someone who was world class at this to teach you every single detail you need to pay attention to. When it comes to sales. But not any type of sale, agency sales specifically. And that's why I brought on not one, but 2 gentlemen to teach you agency sales inside of our phase 4 of the Agency Accelerator. Their names are Matt and Josh. And together, Matt and Josh have over 350 active agency clients on their roster. That's about 30 times as many as I ever had myself. And they got so good at the entire client acquisition process that they're now at a point where they're buying agencies doing multiple 5 figures a month, rolling them up together, ramping up their sales process, and selling them for multiple times what they paid initially. Listen, I'll be honest, I tip my hat off to these gentlemen. There really are levels to this agency game, and you can say that Matt and Josh are on top of that game. And they will be personally teaching you how to sign clients on demand and sell agency services for 4, 5, and even 6-figure retainers. This, along with outreach, are the most in-depth phases inside of Agency Accelerator. And that's because if you get good at this, it's game over. It doesn't matter what you do, you are going to be rich if you learn these 2 things. Because you would have mastered the ability of getting people to pay you thousands and thousands of dollars a month, every single month. So after going through this phase, all of your sales calls are going to be exactly like this one from our student Matt. Not the same Matt that's teaching the program, by the way. $2,480 per month. 4-month minimum, 2 call close. The sale was made in discovery, almost 0 resistance on the second call. Then that takes us to phase 5, which is systems and processes. Listen, it's simple. Just as important as being able to get clients is having the ability to keep them. So this is where me and Pierre will personally give you the systems and processes you need in order to keep clients for a long time. Everything from the perfect onboarding funnel to make sure they have the best client experience from the get-go, all the way down to how they communicate with them to make sure that they're always happy, all the way to reporting, automated billing, every single detail that matters when it comes to providing your clients with an A1 client experience. This is where you're going to get dozens of
stream
website that you literally just port in like that. Same thing with your onboarding funnel, and even step-by-step on exactly what to do in your first 100 days after signing the client. Step-by-step, literally, in your first 100 days, once you sign a client, this is what you do. And this is also where we're going to go in depth into how to actually find and manage the best contractors to get all this service delivery done for you without ever having to pay anything out of pocket. Then we have phase 6. Now inside of the original plan I gave you, phase 6 was service delivery. Now inside of Agency Accelerator, you're not going to see that phase 6 is actually service delivery. And the reason that is because I didn't feel like one phase was enough for service delivery. And for me, that's simply because there are so many different services that you could offer your clients. TikTok ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, conversion rate optimization, email marketing, copywriting, and so on. So what I decided to do was this. I've put together 3 entire programs for service delivery. 3 entire extra bonus programs. The first one is Ad Architect by Justin Lalonde. Now Justin actually started as a student of Agency Incubator, which was the 4th iteration of this program that I launched 4 years ago. And today he runs one of the most successful paid traffic agencies in the world. Inside Ad Architect, he's going to teach you how to run wildly profitable ads from scratch, even if you have never run a single ad in your life. That includes Facebook ads, Google ads, and TikTok ads. The second one is Pen to Profit with my own CMO, Luis Berger. Now, Luis actually started off as an intern for my agency 5 years ago. And today, he's the brains behind some of the most successful internet campaigns and product launches ever made. And the most interesting thing is that he started off as a media buyer, but his most valuable skill turned out to be a copywriter. With his copy, he's not only generated tens of millions of dollars for myself inside of my various different businesses, but he's also written the copy for sales videos for our clients when we were running our agency that I used to sell to clients for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 for a single sales video script. And inside Pen to Profit, he's going to teach you how to write copy for these very same sales videos, as well as ad copy, landing page copy, sales page copy, whatever you can think of. And then finally, you're going to get inbox insiders. We just finished recording this program with Boyan, who is one of the top experts in the world when it comes to email marketing. He runs a wildly successful email marketing agency, and he has personally generated more than $50 million in sales for his clients through the emails that he writes. And inside of inbox
常人来的这
insiders,
些
Boyan will personally teach you how to
你都没有看过，我就跟你
successful
讲，
email
富豪
marketing
他
agency
把
and
的
make tens of
富豪
thousands
真的是
of
大
dollars.
把。
So you get to pick and choose which service resonates the most
30
with
分
you,
钟
and
了
you have a full-blown program
Okay.
going over it.
And
inside
stream.
your agency.
Bye bye.
So, does that mean that you don't get a phase 6?
Bye bye.
Not at all.